I'm Bob. I like coffee. I also like to tell stories. So here at the Bobcast Coffee, it's time for a coffee break. So take a coffee break with me and pour yourself a cup of your favorite Joe. By the time you're done with your coffee, you'll know something about me you really didn't need to know. But you'll have fun learning it. Just remember, my stories are true. For the most part.
This episode was brought to you by JM Insurance. JM Insurance. Do you have business, personal, or life insurance yet? Contact JM Insurance Agency to understand the benefits of insuring against the unforeseen circumstances of life. We have over 40 years of experience in the business and will guide with the best probable choice for your situation. Call us for more information at 405-353-0140 or visit our website at jminsurance.agency.
Still drinking, my regular favorite blends and out of my Texas cup today. I like my Texas cup. Today we're looking at episode 63, and we're going to call this one Moose and Squirrel. Why? Why am I talking about a moose and squirrel? Well, normally I will tell you stories about things that almost killed me. Mine shafts, vacuum cleaners, the regular things that most people have to fight. Today, I want to go back and give you an insight into what built my humor. Where did it all begin? So, if you were to go back into your own memory, try to think of what was funny to you and what you can remember, where it began. Mine was Moose and Squirrel. That's the first cartoon I can actually remember watching. So we're talking about the Rocky and Bullwinkle show. It actually was being created when I was born. It ran from 1959 to 1964 and then went into syndication from that point out. But it was a fabulous show. That was part of what created Bob. It's not the only one. There was a bunch of shows out. Cartoons were running pretty good. In fact, the whole Saturday morning cartoon, boy, there's a lot of people that aren't going to know what the heck that was. If you were a kid and you wanted to watch cartoons, Saturday morning, you got up early. Your parents couldn't get you out of bed to go to school for anything. But on Saturday morning, you were awake before everybody in the living room, TV on, watch cartoons. And this is the time period that all this is being built. So Saturday morning cartoons, Rocky and Bullwinkle, one of my absolute favorite cartoons. It's not the only cartoon that was out there. Oh, there was lots of cartoons. But it's the one that started this. But first, let's talk about some of the forerunners. There was Underdog. Underdog was a dog. He was his mile manner shoeshine boy, and then he would transform into Underdog. The fun thing about Underdog is he rhymed. When he was superhero, he rhymed everything. All his sentences, well, for the most part, all his sentences would rhyme. It was kind of a shtick, but it was a lot of fun. There was Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse is where I did get my catchphrase.
Here I come to save the day. That means that Mighty Mouse is on the way.
Mighty Mouse, probably the forerunner of all these kind of cartoons. 1942, Mighty Mouse started. Mighty Mouse ended its run in 1988. You go, if it was that long, I should know it all. No, not necessarily. Mighty Mouse started out as serial movies, so the little short movies before the main feature, that sort of thing. There was, he obviously had cartoons, but he also ran with comic books. So in one fashion or another, Mighty Mouse has been around for a long time. And it is where I got my catchphrase, the one my wife, I believe she enjoys it. Pardon the microphone here, but it is, here I come to save the day. I love that phrase. And every time Mighty Mouse transformed into his super hero ego, that's what he would say. But even though it was before Rocky and Bullwinkle, even before Underdog, it was still, because let's see. Underdog started after I was born. Rocky and Bullwinkle started before, but Mighty Mouse was always there. So all these cartoons add to how you see the world. Cartoons are absolutely scary if you think about it. Cartoons are technically written for kids, at least back in my day. And this is the time that your mind is forming, all the basics. It's going to be you. This is where you learn how to be you, is this time period. So what are you watching? I'm watching a rhyming Underdog. I'm watching the Mighty Mouse. I'm watching Rocky and Bullwinkle. All heroes, all doing good. And I think that has a lot to do with how I ended up. But let's get into Rocky and Bullwinkle for just a second, because Rocky and Bullwinkle was different than all the other shows. They developed their show as not a sitcom, more of like a variety show. So, they would come on like they were walking out on stage and introduce the show for the day. They would have, different segments of the show. So you had the Canadian Mounties, right? Dudley Do-Right of the Canadian Mounties. This was a show on its own. So during the overall 30-minute show, you would do a segment of Dudley Do-Right. And those characters, the evil villains, the heroine, the hero, all of that stayed in that segment. You had Fractured Fairy Tales, and that was a retelling of Aesop's Fables. And those characters stayed in that segment. Then there was Sherman and Peabody, Sherman the dog, and his boy, Peabody the dog and his boy Sherman. And they had a time traveling machine, that segment. And the characters don't cross over. So, but you also have these stories of Rocky and Bullwinkle. Rocky is a flying squirrel, and Bullwinkle is a moose. College graduate from What's the Matter You. So, yeah, I'm sorry. That makes me chuckle every time I say it. What's the matter, you? And now you kind of understand why plays on words are so popular to a Bob. The funny thing is, the everybody's got to have the antagonistic, character for all of these. For Rocky and Bullwinkle, they had Boris and Natasha, and this is where my brain hears Moose and Squirrel all the time. So when Boris would say, Boris was like a KGB, agent. Natasha, the female KGB agent. They were a team, and they were always out to get the Moose and Squirrel. Why? Okay, if I had my tinfoil hat, I would say, well, Rocky and Bullwinkle were actually United States spies. Not actually written in the show that way. But I couldn't figure out why this KGB-like element was always after the Moose and Squirrel. What was up with that? It never comes out to explain it. But whenever Boris talked about Moose and Squirrel, it's exactly how I said it, right? Moose and Squirrel.
There must be something really rotten we can do today.
I'm thinking, but the worst I come up with is helping to make Moose and Squirrel show 1 hour longer.
So my brain now thinks that the proper way to say moose is moose. In fact, it is so ingrained in my brain that when you say moose, my brain hears moose. And usually it's moose and squirrel. Even if you don't say the word squirrel, it's supposed to be there. There are things wrong with me. So, anyway, go back. Take the time machine, go back to the early 60s, late 50s. Take a look at some of the episodes. I really do think you'll like it. They're very cleverly written. The puns on them are absolutely horrible. And they were just a wonderful part of my childhood. So I'll see if I can find some links. I believe there's a place out in YouTube where you can actually get all the episodes for Rocky and Bullwinkle. And we'll see what we can do with that. Until next time, welcome to my brain. Go drink a cup of coffee, finish that up, get back to work.